Guys, the level of Jerry Springer that we are facing with this show, akasakona. Yo. Like Mnakwethu Happily ya kumzansi, and guys, oh my lord. Flabbergasted. Kasekgowa. Flabbergasted. Like mamhlongo le thabisile. Timosha. Distraction girls. Ke bona ba. The language of uhlulekile as a woman, like that's the only verb that I've heard when people are talking about leaving their relationships or leaving their marriages, is that uhlulekile. You are defeated. I didn't know I was going into a war, guys. You know, I thought maybe I was going into a partnership with somebody to build a life. These men, bayahlulega, self. Can we add that to the African dictionary when we're talking about some of these men in these relationships? Men. Where are you finding the liver? Where? I'm a sleepy, just nyogger, my lord. Because mommy just went straight into Begazela. But she has no context. You don't even know what you're telling them to Begazela through. You don't know. But you're saying Begazela. That's all she's got. That's all she's got in her toolbox. And sometimes, get it hippie, remember. Get it hippie. After the years that they've been through in their marriages and the things that they've probably had to endure, they're hardcore. All they've got is Begazela and Nyamezela. And sometimes they can't let go of Begazela because that's the only thing that's holding them together. I believed you. I know. Bukasi Butsuile. Go back at we all thought she was the sweet, quiet one. Nah, girl. No, that girl knows how to rumble and roll. Ansedi earrings. Is ladies, if you are of the belief that banna bashota, amadota bayashota, and therefore you're going to go out ulogila some other girls in the streets, obashapeka di korobrick, please make sure that you're about that life. Because uManqobo in this was not about that life. Baby girl was shocked and amazed at what was unfolding before her eyes. For real, for real. Yes, for real. Manqobo also deer in the headlights. Deer, ke Bambi. Manqobo, Bambi doesn't know what's going on. Can't believe that this is actually happening. Girl was making her debut on TV looking cute. Samantha are no girl. We make TV here. And that's the magic. You are traumatizing us with this show. Trauma. We are being traumatized by what we are seeing. And it's just like, you know what? It's not an escape anymore. I'm not escaping. I feel like I watch this show and I'm just locked in. Hello,
everybody, and welcome back to Rachadi's Views with me, Rachadi Watsona, where I give you my views on reality. Happy for those who do New Year in January and follow the Gregorian calendar. I hope you had a good festive. Rachadi Lina, I rested, I relaxed, hence the videos weren't coming out, but you know, I'm back at it now. I feel like I've recharged myself and I've taken the time that I needed to just rest and relax. Because I had watched this episode I think it came out on New Year's Day. I watched it there. Like all my strength, all my rest that I had done in that week at Christmas. And I was just like, I can't even talk about it because what I'm seeing is hey, mihlolo, guys, mihlolo. So, Cardo, let me give it to you. As I always say, if you are new to the channel, please click on the notification bell button because Rachadi doesn't always come on time. But when I come back, I bring it. I want to get red lips. Get red lips today, Karsem. For 2025. for my people on the internet. And if you are returning, welcome back, guys. Rakhadi has missed you. I've missed you guys. I really have. And I am getting it together on the backlog. So the reunion, I was actually waiting because I just wanted to film it in one go. Because truth be told, I cannot take any more of this show. Yeah. For real, guys, can we get some nation building television? Please, God, hear our prayer. Because I like some trashy reality TV as much as the next person. But Mzansi Magic, you are traumatizing us with this show. Trauma. We are being traumatized by what we are seeing. And it's just like, you know what? It's not an escape anymore. I'm not escaping. I feel like I watch this show and I'm just locked in. Fontaine. Guys. Worst part, people are living through it. Yes, it's television and it is being produced. There are narratives to a certain degree because, guys, anybody who's watching this channel, I know we are people who think, we engage our brains. So, to a certain degree, we all know as the community, Yarachadi's views, that what we are seeing is not 100% reality. It might not even really even be like maybe the reality, I'll give it like a 40-50%. And then the rest, ke Spice, le Metswako, le Raja, yeah, the producers. It's okay. We're watching it to be entertained. Instead, we are being traumatized. God help us. Anyway, let's get into it. If you also have not subscribed, please subscribe and like and share. And let's just get into it. This light, guys. I'm sweating. But it's okay because come on, look at the red lips. Hello, all my beautiful people. Let's get into it. Mnakwethu, season 4, happily ever after, allegedly. Oh God, episode 11. So we pick up at the beginning where we left off in the last episode, where Sandile was having a get together between Upindile no Makhatebe so they could meet each other, and he had his moment of everybody ask me the truth. This is the one time I'm actually going to give you guys truthful answers, and let's just, get over it. And then Makhatebe brought the child, which is still, I think, was just such a stupid move on behalf of her and Usandiso. So we pick up at that scene. Sandiso then walks in with Ucebile, our alleged number 3, who believes she's a number 2. Sits down. Hi, Upindile no Makhatebe, they're just shaking their heads, laughing, flabbergasted, flabbergasted. Cannot believe what they are seeing. I'm not really going to get too much into this because nearly circus. Tabile sits down. All of a sudden, everyone's like, what's going on? All the 3 women are like, what is going on? Tabile starts asking Upindile, I must ask you as Mam Kulu. Upindile is like, Mam Kulu, I'm nobody's Mam Kulu. What you talk about? Don't refer to me as Mam Kulu. Makhatebe there on the side. Lena, she's like, what is going on? Why is this person here? Sandy saw in all of this, as usual, when the conflict erupts and these men, when their chickens come home to roost, when all the women are in one room, what do we get from them? What have they demonstrated all season? Giddy silent Bob. When it's burning, how chase ako kitchen? Silent Bob. Sandy so had nothing to say. The 3 women are busy going back and forth. Makhatebe is now feeling disrespected by Ucebile because Lena Ucebile comes in hot. I don't know who. Or maybe she was like, you know what, this is my moment in the light and the cameras are rolling. Let me, mark my territory so that the people back home can remember me and know who I am. Perhaps that's the time that she was on because I was not understanding. Ucebile like, Sebete osinka ko kai. Where are you finding the liver? Where? Makhatebe is there and telling Ucebile that, like, I am not the one, the 2, or the 3. Makhatebe tells her, you might be going out here and opening your legs for Usandiso, but don't think you can come and sit in front of me and open your mouth just to take out Itoti. Because me, I will lay my hands on you. I will beat you. And you know what, Makhatebe? I believed you.
I believed you. I know. Bukasi butswile. Ko Makatebe. We all thought she was the sweet, quiet one. Nah, girl. No, that girl knows how to rumble and roll and the earrings and lift up her skirt. Wabana and fold it. Go paint. Go deciding to get ready to get down. The best thing that she did was that Makatebe stood up and left. So I was a bit conflicted because Makatebe Shem Wanabatu, who out of the three of them, I think was just maybe the better suited personality wise for the nonsense that you have to be forced to consume as a woman who's going to be part of Istembu. She seemed like at least she had the personality for that. Okonoi Toba when the time comes. But unfortunately, Makatebe, you are now experiencing what Upindile had to go through when she was also finding out on the television that there was you in the picture. The one thing I can say about Makatebe, at least she tried to be as humble and as respectful as she could be. But Leana, she had a bit of an attitude that, like, girl, I'm here. I had his baby. Uile answer the damage. Uile answer, the little introduction to my family to tell them that, he's taken out the first part, he's coming back to Lobolami. She did have that certain level of arrogance of like, oh girl, well, let's just get over it, because that was the same arrogance, Makatebe, that made you believe that bringing your child around Upindile this soon was a good idea. So I'm not going to revel in you're getting a taste of your own medicine, because ultimately, for everybody involved, all of the three women, this is a sad situation. There are no winners here. There are only losers. Losers. And the person who created this whole situation, the conductor, the orchestra, Silent Bob Usandiso. Eventually, Cebile looks at him and is like, okay, why am I here? Like, why did you bring me here? Sandiso says, no, I thought, the three of you could finally meet and see each other. I told you guys, Makatebe left because she was just like, Mina, Zokshaya girl. And I think she left to just save herself from catching a case and putting hands on people on television. Pindile follows her out also, and she's just like, Yazin, out of all of the things, today, Wes, Wabana comparative, good, better, best. It was worse. Bad, worse. Worse. It was worse for Upindile, guys. The stress that girl was under. Hey. Hi, Pindile's parting statement. She was just like, I'm a daughter. Bam, bam, bam. Rakhadi never condones violence, but I can understand her sentiments and where they are coming from. Because Sandiso, Mr. Manga, mihlolo of this scene and this episode. Listen, I'm sure the producers, when they screamed, cut! Fabulous. They loved it. It was the scene and the take that they needed for the drama. But guys, these are people's lives here. These are people's real emotions. I don't know, Sandiso. Yazin, just out of the three of these guys, like, who is the worst? Who do you guys feel is the worst? Because, like, Sandiso always seems like he's number one, like he's edging for first place, and then Dula Sekondanisa also just, I'm a sleepy, just nyogger, my lord. Anyway, we move on. That scene was a mess. It was a disaster. Sandiso does not have the skills required for any of this. He doesn't have them. But we'll see, because the thing that I think men have figured out is that if you can pit these ladies against each other, you don't have to do much. And maybe that's why we constantly see all three men not doing and saying much when conflict erupts between the women. Next scene, uqondanisa, we see Mamkunu and Samantha getting out of the Uber or the hostel where Qondanisa lives, and they arrive to see that Qondanisa has ambushed them because his mother is in town. visiting him go hostel. And this is Kondanisa's chance because he sees that, like, you know what? I had to call in mommy. He made a big boo-boo with his life, and like mommy's here to fix it for him. So the two ladies enter the hostel. They see her, okay, ke ole mama. Samantha's like, girl, I would have put on some like pants and a duke. I mean, what's this? A dress and a duke if I knew you were coming, because she was there in pants and her head uncovered and the rest of it. Both of the wives are alarmed at the fact that, like, Kondadisa, like, why did nobody call us and tell us your mother was coming? Because this is not comfortable accommodations for a woman, particularly a woman her age, to be like coming atodula hostel. For me, which showed that, like, at least both of them care for his mother to some degree. I Mam Kuno Ustogo proceeds to tell Kondanisa's mother that, like, listen, mommy, while you are here, now let me tell you my side of the story. I'm done. I've had enough with this man. I've had enough with this relationship. I can't begazela no more. Then the mother says, mistakes happen. Which for me is just, guys, the sentiment of that statement I can understand, particularly when you are an outsider looking at people's problems. But this amaputa ayayenzega, I think maybe because I've just heard it out of the mouths of men, maybe at the time, who didn't really mean it or were not taking accountability. There is just something about amaputa ayayenzega, like, these are people's lives. As Mam Kunu continues to remind us, there are diseases out here that Ukondanisa is exposing her to and risking her to. This is not, there's a spectrum of amaputa here. Maybe it's just the translation from Zulu to English. Anyway, that's what mommy says. The mom also says, like, you should have told me, all this time when there were problems. Why didn't you come? Why didn't you tell me that something was wrong? Then I would have at least maybe been able to help you while things were going wrong. Samantha, at least, she picks up at the beginning, just like we do, that Ukondanisa has brought his mother into the situation. And because Kondanisa, for sure, has not briefed his mother and really given his mother the whole truth or the facts about what's been happening in his relationships and why they are at the point of breakdown that they act. And this was confirmed by his mother, because later on the mother's even like, I'm very sad, and she also breaks down and cries, where she's like, I'm trying, I'm here in the middle of this, and I don't even have the facts. I don't know what went wrong and what's happening. But obviously, mommy's message is like, Begazela, Nyamazela, my girls. Samantha's like, no thanks. Samantha's like, mommy, now please just tell me, how do I release myself from this marriage and this arrangement? And as a life lesson, because that's what we do here, Korachadi's Views, guys. For anybody out there, and it's not just for people vanaling radimu and who are spiritually called for work, because all of us are spiritual in nature. If, guys, you ever go somewhere, Oloshola, or there's somebody wamoya that you trust and know, and you get the message from your ancestors, your guides, whatever you might call them in your life, that tells you that the person that you are with is no good for you. And it's more pumalapo. If you ever get that message, guys, please, listen. Because Samantha is point exhibit A ke Samantha, guys. Because from the beginning, even before she married Ukondanisa, while she was twasaring, I don't know what season it was, Mnakwethu. I remember she was sitting with her auntie, who was her kobela at the time. And auntie was telling you that, like, girl, your dlozis have been telling you, that's what they're trying to show you in the dreams, that this person is not the person that they want for you. But because Rona, we are people of the flesh, and we feel what we feel, and we've got our emotions, and she went ahead and she followed her heart or whatever attachment, or she followed EPP artsibi. She went in guns blazing. This is the result. Can we just, because as I always say, let's use these shows that we watch as examples for us in our lives, guys. If they've ever told you, "Olo ba o bolelle gore, girl," or baby boy, not this girl. Listen, because if we don't listen, Exhibit A, Samantha Liqondanisa. It's been a mess from like the jump. Maybe they had a good few months. Maybe, before it was official that Samantha was in the picture, when they were still Samantha ali KFC, Mamkuno, ali papa ali morogo. Maybe back in those days it was nice. But since cameras have been rolling, it's just been nachmeri, a nightmare in Samantha's life. Now here she is saying she wants to be released, and we are all seeing on this show that clearly once a man's family believes there's no such thing as divorce edlozini. So you must see yourself. But anyway, Samantha tells mommy that no, and she wants to be released. Please, please, please. Konanisa's mother is preaching Begazela once again, is saying, Mam Kunu, I raised you from a young age. You came here. I basically groomed you and showed you how to be a woman. We've got such a strong bond. Mam Kunu starts crying because she's like, yes, I love this woman and we've been through so much. She raised me. And she's like, I still love this woman as my mother. But her son, I don't love him anymore. Oh, Shamit was so sad. Mam Kunu was crying. Samantha was crying. In the end, Kondanisa's mother was also crying. Hey, it was painful. I think it was evident from this scene that there's just been a lot of hurt that I think everybody has gone through and a lot of pain that people have experienced. And just honestly, at this point, I don't know if it's healthy anymore. Whether we still have feelings for each other or we don't, it is not healthy. That is what is evident. Mom Kuno tells the mother that, listen, the kids can always come and visit you. It's a holiday, go but as for me, I'm not coming, because the mother was like, just come back home, come with me, we'll sort this out, we'll figure it out. Mom Kuno is like, Ma, I can't, Kimo, I've heard it. And, the mother's very sad, and, she's like, don't let my trip to Joburg be in vain. I came up here, these are the things of marriage, Begazela, Nyamazela, Bogoro, those are the things that she was preaching. And as I was listening to this advice, Karaweziki, Rakhadi, this is a teachable moment, this scene also, for all of us, because I think it's good that we get to see on camera how these types of conversations actually play out when elders are stepping in to try and resolve marital conflicts. Because there's a friend of mine who's also just like, she's not on the same tip that I'm on, that let's bring in elders sometimes to guide us. But for me, I'm still dying on that hill, particularly because guys, don't do this alone. Especially don't start alone. For me, don't bring the elders just when it's already a dumpster fire and you've made all the mistakes and you've lied to all the people and you've done all the things wrong. Get guidance, get a plan from those people who might have done this before when you go out on your own. But anyway, this is the type of eldership that is not always constructive, and it is not resourceful, I think, for women. And this is some of the violence that we perpetrate against each other as women, because there are very many women who I think have been in very destructive and unhealthy relationships and have been told by the other women who are in their lives or adjacent to their lives, more extended family, who have said something similar to Kondanisa's mother, which has been about coercing you to go back, coercing you to stay, bringing in whatever reasons. Think about the kids. You guys have been together for so long. Or as Kondanisa's mother says, you are my children. I love you. Don't do it for him. do it for me, stay for me. And I don't want to necessarily come out here blaming Kondanisa's mother for the things that she is saying, because I think she is a product of her environment as well. This is how you could see from the way that she's talking. This is how she was raised. Lena, they raised her to just begazela, guys. You could, just from a generational perspective, we know our mothers, grandmothers, libo koko, they were raised on this same Kool-Aid of begazela nyamezela. That's your job as a woman. And I'm sure Kondanisa's mother has begazela through some things, because Kondanisa is also a product of his parenting. I don't know what happened with Kondanisa's father and the mother. We can't speak to that. That's not being recorded. But I don't think Kondanisa's father was moving any differently from how Kondanisa's moving. I don't think so. Because I don't ever see a scene where the father is really getting into Kondanisa's ass, getting him together, asking him to take accountability and responsibility, straight, telling him what it actually is to be a man, what it is to have integrity, what it is to as they're always telling us that they're doing. So I think Kondanisa's mother, she's also Begazelat and Nyamezelat, and that's all she can give, I think, to her daughters-in-law, is also just Begazela and Nyamezela. Because, you know, it's a marriage. That's all I've got. So I think really for the mother, her advice to them, if I'm going to give her grace, her advice can only extend as far as her lived experience. You know, it's not optimal. I think we also living now in an age where women have more agency, where women have more independence, where women can actually go out and make their own money. And at least they can have better options from which to make choices. I think Abu Kondanisa's mother and mothers, our mothers in that age bracket, their choices were only as good as their options, which is the truth for everybody else. You know, we look at people's lives and we're judging them, but you don't know what options they had to choose from. You think because you had certain options, everybody else also had those options, and therefore they could have chosen differently. And listen, I don't know Kondanisa's mother from scratch. I'm just using her as an archetype for what was happening in this show and the conversation that was happening. So for all of us who know better, who are exposed, I think, to different ideas, who have agency, I think it is upon us as the millennial generation as well to start having open conversations where we start giving people alternative options, removing the shame from women getting out of relationships, because even the language, and I'm only going to hone in on the Zulu one because this is a Zulu show, the language of uhlulekile as a woman, like that's the only verb that I've heard when people are talking about leaving their relationships or leaving their marriages, is that uhlulekile, you are defeated. I didn't know I was going into a war, guys. You know, I thought maybe I was going into a partnership with somebody to build a life. So I think if we start having more conversations where we and the we have, it might not have even been directly from the guardians that you had. You might have had some very conscious female figures in your life growing up who were preaching about independence, who were preaching about having your own, because they were in situations where they maybe didn't set themselves up like that because that's not what they were taught. And they can see that there are very many negative consequences to that. But as a society as a whole, we are served that Kool-Aid as women. Can we have a conversation with ourselves, remove the shame from ourselves, that staying in relationships at all costs is the priority? So yeah, it's a long sermon. Wait, okay, maybe I'll actually just do a separate video on this on my channel. But because I think it's a long road to hoe, and it really doesn't help us to blame women who are saying things like this. If you can see that that message is outdated and is no longer relevant, because there they are, Abo Mamkunu, Level Samantha, who are still saying, we hear you talk about Begazela Nyamezela. But firstly, mommy, you also don't have all the facts, which was something that I would have liked his mother to at least have engaged in asking these women, okay, I don't know all the facts. You didn't call me. You didn't tell me when things were happening. Tell me your side of the story, because mommy just went straight into Begazela. But she has no context. You don't even know what you're telling them to Begazela through. You don't know. But you're saying Begazela. That's all she's got. That's all she's got in her toolbox. And sometimes, get it hippie, remember. Get it hippie. After the years that they've been through in their marriages and the things that they've probably had to endure, they're hardcore. All they've got is Begazela and Nyamezela. And sometimes they can't let go of Begazela because that's the only thing that's holding them together. That's the limitation of where they are. We are now a new generation. Let's also step up in our consciousness and in our evolution. Doesn't help us to say mommy was wrong. Yes, we know the things that mommy is saying are out of context and are outdated. Unfortunately, that is just also how most women are still being groomed. So even for the men who are male viewers here on this show, please look and understand that I think for a lot of women, we are in shackles before you even get married. Wait a topic. It's a topic because this video is gonna be 1 hour, and I told myself because I really, really wanted this episode, this review to be shorter because I'm doing like a 2-for-1 reunion. Here I am, 30 minutes in. Kisabu, oh my lord. Guys, it's detailed reviews here. That's what we're doing because there are just so many lessons and teachings, rather than us just wanting juice about people's lives. There's so many things we can learn, I think, if we ask ourselves some questions, and step outside of ourselves and just judging other people and just see what juice, what nourishment can I take out of what I'm seeing on TV here that can better myself in my life. But anyway, overall, it's just a sad situation. While all of this is happening, go hostele, it's not entrana, people are crying. Kondanisa sees this as a great, great time for him to sneak out and go see the next lady. What's her name? Mangobo, the next lady on the queue, the next one. Because I don't know, Jorge number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know. I can't even attach a number to her. She's just next on the queue. That's when he goes to go and see her. Not really much happens, and I'm not even going to get into much of it because this is the last episode and it's just an introduction. She's just really worried about, are the other wives going to accept her? Qondanisa's like, no, he's going to have to ask for permission, but he wants her to meet his mother. I don't know what dreams and fairy tales he's selling her. I also, for the love of me, for the life of me, I don't understand where Qondanisa's finding these new women. Because are people not guys? Okay, maybe not everybody's got like access to DST. Hey guys, maybe people don't. Because have you not seen a clip? TikTok reel, also Instagram, showing this man for his works. But you know what? We all have our things. I don't know what's bringing those two together. But hey, there's just something. Or is it just Amatota Ayashota? Because that's what I'm hearing a lot from the streets. Is that man never shorter, so take what you can get. Anyway, we're gonna come back to Mangobo because poor little lamb. By the end of this episode. Next scene, we see Mamkunu and Qondanisa's families are meeting to finally have this family meeting, but it's happening in Joburg, so with whatever family we can scrounge up to have a meeting. I'm not going to get into the details because it's quite repetitive. Qondanisa's telling them that he's upset that nobody called him when Mamkunu left. Mamkunu's family is saying, well, if you saw that she was gone, why didn't you come to us and ask what happened and come and fetch her? It's just back and forth. Mamkunu tells them that she wants out because she's scared of the diseases. I'm so tired. Yo, guys, the Q's, Konda. I'm gonna call him Mr. Q. Can't do this no more. Okay, like okay, Mr. Q. She says she's had enough of him, and she tells them obviously top of the list is just she wants to live for her children, and she will not put her life at risk anymore. And it's proof that Mr. Q is out here raw dogging in the streets because here are these pregnancies and these children out of wedlock, and I can't do it no more. Ronanisa apologizes to the family. Mamkunu is very aware that, he brought his mother to emotionally manipulate her. Ronanisa says he apologizes. Mamkunu's family is like, okay, you're apologizing with what? Obviously, Mr. Q is there empty-handed. He says all he's come with is, a request that him and Mamkunu can just, put everything behind them and move forward in the future. Then he complains that Mamkunu's also asked him for a farm. He looks at his Sbari, Mamkunu's brother, you don't even have a farm. Don't you think it's unreasonable that she's asking me? Sbari's like, yay, ungang fagi. He says, I'm not there. That was an agreement between you, Mamkunu. Whatever you guys agreed, don't put me in there. I'm not in there. The two representatives from Mamkunu, the female ones, when they heard that Mr. Q had nothing to give them, they were also just like, cut! Qima! Just for real, Kondanisa. Ubhizi ka the apology tour. Not once have you ever come with anything in your hands. Where do they do that? Where do they do that at? Is it either these apologies are really just for television so that you could be on this season and just squeeze out another check for 14 weeks? And none of this is real. Because I can't believe, if these Zulu men are out here telling us they're very cultural, traditional men, where do they do that at? Where do they do that at? Where you come empty-handed to ask for forgiveness time and time again in different scenarios. And then when the person tells you that what I want for atonement is a farm, you're crying. Anyway, Mamkunu reiterates again that Anna, she wants out. She goes and shakes Qondanisa's mother's hand. They make a plan that she's like, no, I'll come and talk to you one-on-one tomorrow. Mamkunu's brother who was there, because she was like, Angsamfuna, I don't want it. Her brother, Judas, go the meeting. I don't know, Sisi, you can't say that because guys, can this also just be a lesson to all of us? When you are going to have a family meeting with your partner's family, can you please sit down first with your family representatives? Give them the facts, and can we get on the same page about what our position is as a family when we get to that family meeting? Please, especially where there's going to be both genders representing you, because truthfully and honestly, when it comes to the matters of relationships, majority of the time, men and women who are part of your representatives are going to see things differently. Because Svari ujisitse squad phambi kwabantu during with the cameras telling Mamkunu that you can't say that these people bansitse magadi. Then Mamkunu's like, what are you talking about? I gave them children. I did my part. So I don't want to hear it. She stands up and as she says she's leaving, she's had enough. She even said, quote unquote, I don't care a damn. I'm out. So then the rest of her party leaves. This is when Qondanisa's family finally offers, no, guys, don't leave. We can go and get you a little live chicken there from the back. Barcha, they don't want it. Barcia for that now. We don't need your chicken. Anyway, Samantha takes Omamhlongo to her auntie. Now we see, because in the previous episode she said she was going to take her to ubaba, one of her spiritual teachers. Kanti, it's her aunt, the aunt that we've seen in all of these family negotiations from last episode, from last season even, is that same aunt. I had a bit of a problem, not a bit, actually, I have a problem with Usamantha taking Mamhlongo to go and see her auntie. Because I think the scene would have seemed more authentic and real if she'd actually taken Umamhlongo to a neutral third party. Neutral, like somebody that we haven't seen, that we haven't known. Because in the situations and the scenes that we have seen Auntie in, we can see also sometimes that, like, peaceful resolution sometimes Wabana is not her strong suit, is not. And then, knowing that like auntie can be quite reactive in situations, utshwana le Samantha, on top of the fact that Samantha is a girl who knows that cameras are rolling and this is her moment to shine. She's in the light, she's making TV. On top of that, there are producers producing in the background. That just all of those ingredients of that recipe for me made this scene for me not believable. It just wasn't believable. And I'm not saying, hear me, I am not saying that Usamantha or her auntie are not credible traditional healers. I don't know that. I can't validate that. I'm saying the lack of objectivity here leads to certain suspicions. So that's why I took this with like 5 pinches of salt and a whole cup on top, because we're making television. Anyway, auntie sits with Mamhlongo, immediately tells Mamhlongo that, so Mamhlongo tells her the situation, that yes, I don't know which number I am. Dulas keeps bringing people, and she tells her she miscarried and her 2 brothers who passed away. So auntie's like, girl, you're gonna need somebody to cleanse you. Which I'm glad that she said somebody, i.e., maybe go find another person to do this for you. Somebody who is just not attached to Usamantha and to the television show. So auntie says you're gonna need to find somebody to go and cleanse you, and basically then says Dulas has made you his zombie. Is he making you sleep with all of these animals, these spiritual animals? And essentially auntie is, it's not even hinting, she really is just saying it, that Dulas is basically harnessing your energy. Ukile ustakile mole ukile ka ditlhare ngemithi, you're not gonna go anywhere. And then Mamhlongo on a diary entry is like, oh, it makes sense why Dulas is always saying I'm never gonna leave, never gonna leave. Girl, been telling you. Imithi plus vorce ya Dulas, allegedly, is going to need a lot of work. It's going to need a very good spiritual healer, because this person is confident, hands down, without a doubt. Whatever I tshepileng utulas, we tshepile 100% that there is nowhere that you are going. So auntie confirms that. And then she also says that Mamhlongo must go and ask Dulas what happened to her child and where is the child. So auntie here is insinuating that Dulas knows what was done with what was the purpose of Mamhlongo miscarrying, and perhaps that child or that spirit was used for whatever nefarious purposes Dulas has, which are never explained and not really gone into. What I will say is that I don't know if I 100% believe that, to be honest. And that is because, number one, at the beginning of the season, Dulas was there going to his Mkulu prophet guy, the one who told Dulas that he must get a red ntambo for Mamhlongo to tie around her waist, because he could see like there was some danger around the baby, and I think he couldn't like properly like sense the baby go moying. Number one, for that reason. Number two, when Mamhlongo finally told Dulas about this miscarriage, guys, Dulas was torn up. torn up. I can call him whatever I want to call him when he's doing what Dulas does best. But when it came to this miscarriage of his child, I just don't believe Dulas is that good of an actor. Like, he really looked very much affected by it. It was like the first time I'd really seen that vulnerable, sensitive side of him. And you could see he was devastated. He was just as devastated to hear about this miscarriage. So I don't necessarily believe, me personally, Rakadi, that Dulas has knowledge about what was done with this child. I don't think so. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Maybe things were done by other healers that he's not aware of. And Mam Hlongo's also like, guys, at the end of the day, we hear about people who do things like this. They have big houses and luxury cars. Like, nah, I'm still kesa komba ke namela di Uber le di taxi. And so is Dulas. Like, nah, like, where's all this money that we're supposed to be getting in exchange? You know what I'm saying? For this life force energy. So yeah, I can sure about that, but I'm not really going to get into it because it's not my place. So Auntie says that she must come back for a proper reading at another time, and maybe she did go back for a proper reading at another time. It's problematic though that they let Mam Hlongo go with just this very high level, very vague consultation, because we see in the next scene how Mam Hlongo is now causing problems with the little information that she got from that conversation. And maybe this is another video that like Rakadi might do at another time, where the responsibilities, guys, that are upon us as healers and people who help other people with spiritual, emotional, and mental interventions, that there's a certain level of responsibility. We too have a fiduciary duty to caretake those people, that there is certain information that needs to be told to them completely and wholly, and there's some information that sometimes needs to be withheld. Wababereka. But you need to sometimes withhold some information because it can cause problems in people's families. As we will see, it caused problems. I mean, Dulas's family built on lies and fairy tales and fallacies. So, like, already the foundation. Ayo. However, it just caused more problems because Mam Hlongo didn't have a full consultation. So she doesn't have the full story. Utlile just ka 1, 2 high level concepts that weren't even gone into detail with. And here she is lighting a fire. Mam Hlongo comes into the house, kona chorena, litabsile. Like, Mam Hlongo litabsile, timosha. Distraction kills. Come on now. Walk into the house in Naturena. Dulas is sitting on the couch having tea. Limashozi. It's the showdown. Mam Hlongo's like, no, we're all going to be in one room and we are going to put this thing to bed once and for all. I got Tabsile last. Mam Hlongo had gone, called Tabsile to come and tell us the truth of whether Dulas had broken up with her. Tabsile are no. So now Mam Hlongo asks her again, now that we're all together, Tabsile, have you broken up with Dulas? Tabsile says no. Dulas in the next breath says, what did I say to you in the last conversation that we had? Tabsile are, you told me that we've broken up. Or senyetsa nako, it's Tabsile. Wasting our time collectively. Wa bona gore why ne ke poregile to come and record? Why? But let's be bored together by this girl, because or senyetsa nako. Mam Hlongo at least then asks, well, did you guys speak after you had that conversation? Then Tabisile is like, yes, we've been talking. Baby girl whips out her phone, gives it to Mashozi. Mashozi is not even involved in the conversation. What's scroller, baby girl? She's just scrolling. She's letting Tim Mosha and Dulas fight it out. And I was scroller or she the message, and she was scrolling for a long time, guys. long time. There were many messages she was going through there. So Tabsila then tells us that, like, in her diary session, that, like, for her and Dulas's relationships, it's breakups to makeups. Like, this is part of the course. They're getting together and they're breaking up. But for me, just going forward, and please, please, Mzansi, this is the one time I'm asking Dulas to go and find a new girlfriend, because Tabzile has zero credibility. Zero. It is evident from this episode and, like, all the other ones that we've seen on, but this one in particular, that I think, like, her actions are really just purely motivated by, like, Linyora for fame. I get it. And likes, maybe for social media. But, like, there's nothing serious about this girl. She's not taking life seriously. Look, she's not taking Dula seriously, which I think is, like, the only smart thing that I can give her, because Dula's. But why we are asking to bring her into conversations to relate facts, like, you're not a credible person, babes. You're not a credible person. Anyway. So then she then tells them that, like, no, Dula's told her, and I miss no credibility, tells them that Dula's told her he went to a sangoma and she's apparently supposed to give birth to his son. Then this is when Mam Hlongo comes in, giving feedback from her meeting with the person that she consulted with, Usamanta's auntie there, accuses Dulas of making her zombie umkovu. That's what you're using me for. Where's my child? Futi, tell me what happened to my child. Dulas is shocked by these allegations. In his diary session, he's like, Mam Hlongo only told me about the miscarriage almost 2 months after it happened. And he's like, I could very well accuse her of having an abortion. Guys, the level of Jerry Springer that we are facing with this show, yo. Like, Mnakwethu ke re a tsotela ya ko Mzansi, and guys, oh my lord. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It was just a mess. And this is why I'm saying it is our responsibility, guys, as healers and interveners. We have a responsibility, because people who don't have the full story go back to their homes and do the same stunts, pull these stunts, Sabo Mamhlong, causing more mess and distraction that really didn't need to be there. It would have been Mamhlong, go cleanse. That's what you must focus on. Ulo cleanser, ulo futa, ulo kapa, whatever else you need to be doing. But once again, I think Mam Hlongo has also she's back in the game. She's clocked in. She's clocked in. Therapy Mutu is back. Lights, camera, action. Lena, she's making TV. There's no trust in any of these relationships. None of them. So there's no foundation. That's what was happening. Then, so Mashozi gives the phone back to Tabsile. Then she wants it back because she says she wants to delete Dulas's number. Tabsile is like, delete my number off of his phone. I'm not giving you my number again. Mam Hlongo, after throwing all of these accusations at him, tells Tabsile, Timosha, mission accomplished. Let's go. They leave. It was a mess. We get into the last scene. Disaster. Two Z's. Mr. Q has taken his two wives, Mamkunu and Samantha, for a pamper session. Kitty pedicure, kitty manicure. Fine. Don't even really care. We're going to gloss over that. He says he's doing it to show them that he's changed, to show them that they're important to him. But basically, it's also to get them all in the same place, because this is where he's bringing his next on the queue. Who is it? Mangobo. There we go. He's bringing his next in the queue. So the wives have had their treatments. They're all sitting down at Mr. Q and Samantha Lemamkunu having drinks. Samantha, the words out of her mouth. The words and the action. There's no alignment there, girl. So it's fine. Maybe you're lying to yourself, and that's why we can see that you're also lying to us. Because the last words that she said was that Anna, she's accepted everything that's happened. She doesn't care anymore. Aki Yomo, that's what she tells us. I'm no longer there. Direct translation. I'm no longer there. Not even while it was editing. But we cut. Next thing we see, Mangcobo's walking into the yard of the spa. And what does Samantha do? Jumps up, screaming, making a scene like somebody who is still very much there, like somebody who has actually not accepted Isimo, like somebody who still very much cares. And also like somebody who still is very much making television for TV, for entertainment. Samantha Ajampa throws her alcohol on this poor woman, guys. Umangcobo, you can see, utlile alemontle utlapile. Girl was wearing a beautiful dress that was showing off her curvaceous body. Not too tacky, just sexy enough. You can see she's like a quiet somebody. Bamotsela ka savannah. And yes, there are very many things. It's very nuanced here. Mangcobo was very much well aware that there were two other women that Ukondanisa had in his life, and she still went into it. So the first lesson is, ladies, if you are of the belief that banna bashota, amadoda bayashota, and therefore you are going to go out ulogila some other girls in the streets, obashapeka di korobrick, please make sure that you're about that life. Because Umangcobo in this was not about that life. Baby girl was shocked and amazed at what was unfolding before her eyes. For real, for real. Yes, for real. If you're not about that life, please leave other people's men alone. Leave them alone. Because gooby. Secondly, what I am going to call out as Rahat is Samantha. Because I think maybe you need to go and watch the episode, the very first Mnakwethu ever season, where Musa Mselegu was going with you to go and introduce you to Umamkunu, and how nervous and you were so anxious to go there. Then you got there, wamutlaba Mamkunu ka your attitude in that room. Mamkunu still was humble. Didn't throw anything at you, didn't jump on you, didn't try and fight you. How easy we forget that you were also in that same situation. Mamkunu, at the very least, treated you with a little modicum of respect as a human being. As a human being, it broke my heart to see that happening to Umangcobo. It actually broke my heart, because I was just like, this poor woman. Yes, breaking other women too, girl. Let's be for real. You know, you're out here with Mr. Q in the streets, but you. I don't think she's about that life. That's not what she was given. Guys, she said nothing. Nothing. The whole time Samantha's screaming, Mamkunu's laughing there in the back, because they are also just flabbergasted at what they are seeing. They go and they get changed. Kondanisa is still trying to pull them back to get them to sit at the table. Samantha's screaming and shouting, kitty fork, let go of me, I'm not here. Samantha and Mam couldn't get dressed and they leave. The whole time, Mangcobo also deer in the headlights. Deer, ke Bambi. Mangcobo, Bambi, doesn't know what's going on. Can't believe that this is actually happening. Girl was making her debut on TV looking cute. Samantha are no girl. We make TV here. Samantha are no girl. I'm going to show you the wrath and the rage that I'm living through, even though I made another woman live through it. But I forget that I made another woman live through it. I'm the one who's hurt now, so I'm justified. On TV. What are we doing as a nation, guys? Like, the state of our relationships here are just, I think, a reflection of the state of the relationships that we are having with ourselves. Samantha, for me, girl, you know, now I believe in everybody. I want better for everybody. For me, Samantha, can you please, I hope you're continuing with the therapy. with or without cameras rolling, because I want you to get to this place of peace that you say that you want. Because that's not what you're demonstrating when the cameras are rolling. You're demonstrating that you want war and that you are actually at the center of a lot of this chaos. Yes, Mr. Q's doing his things. But Umam Kuno, she stood up, she laughed. There was a time where you could even see that, like, after she changed, she was even willing to sit and let's carry on filming the scene and let's hear what Ukondanisa has to say. But no, Samantha stood up and she was like, let's leave. And they left. That is my hope for you. Please continue with your therapy and your healing. Because it was just sad to see. It was sad to see. And Mangobo, for you also, girl, I hope this was just a wide awakening. Because you could see that Mr. Q was toothless and powerless for the situation that was unfolding there. All he did was he came and he rubbed few drops of savannah, just the droplets around her eye. That's all he could do for you. And you both sat down there and you were looking stupid, babes. Stupid. And that was the situation that he created. And he then looked at you, silent Bob, nothing to say. Ohlulekile. If we're going to use those words, that's a person, ohlulekile, is Mr. Q. Stop shaming these women who are living dramatic, destructive, unhealthy situations. These men, bayahlulega, self. Can we add that to the African dictionary when we're talking about some of these men and these relationships? Men, I'm not even going to use that. Giddy boys, you all know it. Anyway, that was the end of the episode. I gave it another hour, guys. You know, just wait to do like a testifier. But I think I'm actually just going to make separate videos for some of these themes because I think they like meaty enough for us to go in a little 10-15 minute video about life. Let's have some extra coaching videos on the side, maybe not folded into all of the reviews at the same time. If you have watched till the end and you are here, thank you. I'm so appreciative. I hope this was informative. I hope it was entertaining. I appreciate you so much, guys. And I'm going to be coming with it's the last video that I'm uploading. Mnakwethu. I cannot load 2 separate videos of the reunion. Guys, I'm sorry. Mama I can't. But we are here at the end. Please, please, please like, share, and comment. Let me know how you think. Who is the worst, guys? Come on. Good, better, worst. Good, better, best. What's the opposite? Bad, worse. West. Yeah. Who's bad West in this show? Just from the guys, because they were all whining, stunting. They show us how to stunt, but from doom. Hey. Anyway, please continue to go out in your life and spread love, not hate. Cheers from Rakadi.